What's good? And thank you for tuning in today. Today on the show, we got my big brother Zen, who's gonna chop it up with us. We got a open mic, just kind of a freestyle episode this week. We're not gonna really touch on anything too much, or we're gonna touch on a lot of things, a whole bunch. We don't know. We're gonna just let the conversation flow. So, welcome to the show, Zen. How you doing today, bro?
I'm doing amazing, man. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing all right. I'm all right.
Wait, what was that sign out about? Hold on. What?
I'm all right. Well, I say I'm all right because like we were talking in the group message. For those that don't know, we got a podcast panel group message where it's a bunch of us. We collab, we toss ideas off one another, and we, uplift, encourage, inspire, electrify. We do all of that in our group message. So if you ain't a part of it, you need to be a part of it. But like I was telling y'all, so today I decided to go. I'm trying to start a whole new segment of What's Good Family Podcast, which is What's Good on the Street. That's where I go and I do active in person on spot interviews with random folks. There's no real set person I'm trying to get a hold of. It's just anybody and everybody. But when I went to the mall today to try to start that thing, it didn't really it went, but it was a lot of kids there today. So I'm all like, I went there, it's a Saturday. I went between the hours of I want to say 3-ish, 1-ish. I forget what time I put the message out there, but I left about 4. And it was a bunch of kids. And so it was like, like I said in the group message, oh, yo, I'm gonna have to ask these people, are they 18 or older? Ask them for ideas and stuff because, in order to put them on the podcast. So it was like, who do I talk to? How do I talk to these people without looking like a creepo or weird? Like I started thinking about the negative stuff. I did my little walk around. So the Mall of America is like 4 stories. The 4th story is food, but you got 3 stories of just straight shopping. In the middle, there's a theme park in the middle of the mall. They even have matter of fact, if you include the basement, which is an aquarium, it's 5 stories. So it was like a bunch load of people there. I found my little corner where I was kind of like my little base of operations, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm good right here. I'm good right here. But trying to actually find people to talk to, it was weird. It was a weird situation. Not weird in a bad way. It was a new situation that I've never been in before.
So was it because like you didn't want to bother anybody, or like I know you said there was a bunch of kids around and all that, but
Yeah.
sometimes people just want to get in and get out and all that. I know that would be a problem with me if I'm asking somebody questions and all that. So like same thing with me. If somebody stop and ask me questions, I might get annoyed because I'm trying to just hurry up and take care of certain stuff. Would that be a problem as well?
Yeah, that was definitely one of the things that popped into my head. Like they didn't come to the mall to be bothered or anything. That's why I was kind of like, so this is where I guess I didn't really plan. I was kind of winging it, but I didn't really plan for it. The spot that I was in, it was kind of like it was by the fountain. It was by a fountain. It was kind of like where there was a bunch of chairs and benches and stuff where people could sit down. So I was like, okay, ding ding, I'll post up right here and kind of catch them as they're sitting down to where they're not walking and they're not on the mission walk, because we all have that mission walk when we at the mall. We all have that, you know, get out my way. I'm trying to hurry up and get to this stove for whatever reason. So I was all like, okay, well, I'm gonna kind of sit over here, chop it up, and try to see who I can chop it up with on this side. So not so much waiting for them to come to me, but kind of waiting for them to kind of sit down type stuff. So I saw a couple of people that I was gonna go up to, but then I was all like, oh man, there are a couple, and like this one white couple was sitting down and they were having one of those lovey-dovey conversations, where they were locking eyes with each other and eating, and I was all like, oh, that's so cute. I don't want to go interrupt that moment. And then there was another person, there was a black dude, he was sitting down with his 2 kids. Now I was gonna go to him. But by the time I got ready to I had just worked up the courage, like, okay, I'm gonna go ask him because I had a perfect question for him. He had got up and left. So I thought like, dang,
So what was the question actually?
The question for him was gonna be, what is the most expensive lesson you've ever learned?
I want to answer that question, but I want to get like my bad. I don't mean to cut you off of your story, but that's an interesting question though.
Yeah, man, you can answer, bro. I don't want to be too personal, but we're a family podcast, you know. So like, my thing is, I wanna leave gems for people to help out people, you know. So I feel like that's a fair question. What's the most expensive lesson you've ever learned?
So wait, you asking me now, or you
Yeah,
just okay? Okay.
yeah. What's the
So
most
I
expensive
remember.
lesson you've ever learned?
Well, I'll tell you this: like when somebody said I was too stupid to be around them, I had to realize that I was stupid. Like I'll tell you this. So like basically like when I was younger, like I pretty much used to get into a lot of fights or whatever. So like I was just basing my life off of fighting and just hanging out and all that. But I dated this lady. She was very intelligent. Like she was going to college and all that. She was her family was very wealthy. Like her father was a lawyer, her mother was like a nurse and all that. So one time they had a family reunion and I wanted to go with them, but she said that I know you look all right, but you're too stupid to talk to them. And then she walked off. And like around that time, whatever, like I wanted to argue back, but I couldn't because she was already gone. So now I'm looking like who am I gonna argue with? To a point where I started arguing with myself or whatever. But at the same time, I was 17 years old with a fourth grade reading level. So basically what she was saying actually made sense. So now I had to pretty much start reading, whatever, start catching up and all that to a point where I realized that my gift was psychology, understanding people's psyche and all that. So I thank her for telling me that, even though it hurt me the most. So I appreciate her or whatever, but she was still a jerk for saying But that's why I
It
love that
does.
question because it's so like that question is so beneficial, or whatever, because you like legit think about certain stuff that happened in your life that you really don't want to focus on anymore. So that's amazing. That's an amazing question, actually.
When I'm in my hotel room, when I'm out working, I I think of so much stuff, so much content, so much things I want to do. I go in a lot of different directions, you know, but this podcast has been something, it's been my North Star. I want to grow. I want to expand my reach. I want to take this as far as I can take it. And I'm gonna run with it as much as I can. That is my goal. And so this is just another obstacle I gotta overcome. And it's hard, bro, it's so hard because I literally, the bells in my head was all like, "Yo, you are too introverted for this shit." Pardon my French, but I'm, believe it or not, I am very much an introvert.
I rock with it.
I
I
I
rock with it.
I am totally an introvert. Like, I got my Xbox, I got my podcast, I can seclude myself up in this room all day and be okay and be fine. But my wife has been challenging me with this podcast to go outside your comfort zone, venture outside of your norm and do something different. You want the podcast to grow, it's not going to grow by itself. So what are you going to do to help it grow? You are the face, the brand, you are everything to your podcast. So what are you going to do to help it grow? Because you're not a celebrity, you know, you're not celebrity status yet, you know, where I'll put it to you like this. So I'll use Boy Meets World. So, you know, to uh Danielle Fisher, the guy who played Eric Matthews and the guy who did Sean who played Sean Hunter, they have a podcast. And I'm just using them as an example. So them saying they have a podcast, naturally everybody's gonna tune into it because they know who they are. People don't know who I am. So I'm trying to get my name up to their status. So it's like, hey, I'm gonna be in the streets. I mean, think about it. Your guys like Dean Withers, he does a lot of political stuff on TikTok. He does a lot of, he was the one going into the MAGA circles and asking people why, hey, why do you support Trump? Why do you support this? Why do you support that? And debating them on in real time about with their own logic. So like for me, that's kind of where I'm not gonna lie, that's where I got my inspiration from. I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna go debate people, but I want to just take the podcast to the streets. Hey, what's good in the streets? Yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Well, I do have to say this before I get like I had to ask you a question, but I do have to say this before like you. before I ask you this question. Like, it's funny how like the introverts are usually the most interesting people to talk to. And it's crazy because the moment like I started doing my podcast, I was inspired by you. Like I was legit in my I don't know if you remember this, but it was like a year ago when I looked at one of your videos. It was about being like a single person to like a married person and all that. I
Yeah,
think it
yeah,
was
yeah,
one of your
yeah.
yeah. And I was looking like, yo, this guy is so good to talk to. Why isn't he famous? And then that's when I messaged you. I was saying like, yo, like I want to learn from you. I don't know exactly what I said, but I know something like, yo, I like what you're doing. And that inspired me to actually be on my podcast and all that. So I thank you for that. So right now you're a celebrity to me. You were one of the first people that actually wanted to be on my like group chat and all that. But it's funny that I have not talked to you before then. And I know
And look,
we was gonna do a show way before then though, right?
yeah, we were supposed to do one way before it, but it just I think, and I'm a firm believer, and I've said this in a lot of my episodes. Everything happens the way it happens for whatever reason it happens. You know, whether you want to call it destiny or divine intervention or the fates allowed it. You know, whatever, however you look at it, everything happens the way it happens for a reason. You know, for they're the reason at on March 21st, 2026, we're doing our first one-on-one interview because whatever had to happen. And I don't know. I think I'm a firm believer. Everything happens for a reason. Cause I remember you reaching out and I remember, you know, us connecting and everything. And then when you invited me to the group chat, I was all like, all right, let's do this. I'm not gonna lie. I felt a lot of the podcast groups are dry. I know for me, I post and ghost. At a point in time, I was staying around to try to connect and try to find people to talk to. I've met a couple of people, but as far as like I've gotten more from our group messenger than I have any of the groups that I've been a part of. Now that's not taken away from the people I have met, you know, I appreciate all of them, but I've gotten more from our group than that.
I'll tell you this, you are the MVP of our group. Like I tell you this. So like, and I tell you this, also, when it comes to like a lot of these group chats, they have a lot of bots. So it's gonna be very hard for like you to maneuver from like if somebody just wanna talk to you or somebody just advertising the scam. So what I want to do is I want to talk to everybody to see if they're like they're okay or if they're not just trying to run your pockets and all that. So
Yeah.
like that's why I bring people on or whatever, and I actually legit want to talk to them before anything. So that's why I said like you personally like you were the main person that really like inspired me to do a podcast because of your charisma, because of the people that you were talking to and all that, because of your like how animated you are and all that. So if I see you outside and all that, speaking to people, you'll be the main person that I would expect to do that because your charisma will bring people together.
See, I gotta. All right, man. Look, this is a family podcast, so I'm gonna just tell you and anybody who watches is some of the things that I've been dealing with, and I've said it before. I'm working to overcome and be okay with self. Again, through therapy and my wife, I've gotten to a point where I am now okay with DJ and being DJ. I don't, you know, confidence to just go up to random people and be like, hey, let's talk. And my wife was telling me before I embarked on my mission today, she was like, my 10-year-old, he is a social butterfly. He will go up to anybody and be like, "Hi, how you doing? What's up?" And just spark a conversation out of nowhere, and I have to pull him back like, "Hey, bro, don't do that. You can't just go talking to random people." And then here it is. I gotta backtrack on my words that I told him and go talk to random people. So it's like,
I'm about to say like, hold on, Dad, I see you doing it. Why can I do it? So quick question though, like you say you're an introvert, but you say your 10-year-old like is going out talking to people and like having fun because he's like, I'm pretty sure he learned his charisma from you basically. Was you like that before anything, and then it comes to a point where like a lot of people just use your kindness or use your charisma just to take the energy away from you?
my mom would say, I can make a friend out of anybody. One of my best friends to this day, love him to death. His name is Kirk Burns. Love him to death. Me and him became friends in 3rd grade over a holographic Hitmonlee Pokemon card.
Nice.
That no, I'm sorry. It was a Hitmonlee and a Nidoking. I wanted the Nidoking so bad. I just wanted a holographic card. And he was like, "Yo, I got a bunch of holographics at the house." And like I was so into Pokemon cards and I never had a holographic and I wanted a holographic and I wanted to know what could I do to get a holographic. And we became best friends over Pokemon cards.
Interesting. Interesting. So
And
if you need a holographic Dragonite, I got you. I got one. So I mean, just let you know.
I don't have Pokemon cards right now, so
Rock with that, bro.
I'm about to go
I
to the
still got
store.
him.
My other best friend, Dennis McGowan, bro. Me and him became best friends because I had moved up to Houston and I was in that phase of trying to fit in. I came from a minor city to this major city, and these kids were a total different, like they were a complete 180 from what I was used to. Like I'm talking about, we get on the, it was getting on the school bus, and people were freestyling in the back of the bus. You had people just it was a live thing. To ride the bus it wasn't a horrible thing. It was, hey bro, like, I'm getting on the bus, and our bus driver, he looked like Scarface, so we called him Face. Like, you know what I'm saying? The rapper Scarface, he looked like him. And he was cool. He was cool as the mugs. Long story short, I was doing things to try to fit in. I would invite everybody over to my house, let them eat my food, get in trouble by my dad, and then do it all over again because I wanted to fit in, you know what I'm saying? And my boy Dennis, he came over and he was all like, I was like, "Hey man, you want some food, bro? You good?" He's like, "Yeah, man, I don't want to eat your food." I thought like, okay, you want anything? Like whatever I get. He's like, "Look, bro, well, you cool, man. I just came over here to chill with you." Okay. And I'm trying to make sure everybody's happy. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to keep everybody happy. So I realized he liked to work out, and at that time I was really big into working out. So I asked him like, "Hey man, can I come work out with you? I saw you had weights at your house and everything. I don't mean to invite myself over." He's like, "Yeah, bro. Everybody's more than welcome to come work out at the house and everything." So he started out as my workout person I was looking up to, and we became best friends. And he's been my best friend since 9th grade. To this
Wow.
point, if he's watching this, he can testify. He moved where I live. He lives across the street. He got a house built across the street from me.
So like you trust him because it seemed like he didn't want anything but your time and all that. Like you would like he just wanted to connect with you and all that. He didn't want any food, he didn't want nothing. He just wanted your time because he liked you and all that.
He just said he wanted to figure out, who am I? And
Facts.
that's
Facts.
what he said. I just want to know who you are. Not the you trying to pretend to be cool or trying to fit in with everybody, not the you trying to perpetrate to everybody. Who are you? It was so cool. He became such a big influence in my life. I wouldn't be who I am today without him. Like, when this podcast was just a thought, when it was just an idea, I was running it off of him. "Hey bro, this is what I'm thinking about doing." And he was one of the main ones along with my wife. "Hey bro, either do it, put up or shut up. Either do it or don't do it. But I think you'll be good at it, but do it or don't do it." When I put out my first episode, he was critiquing it. "Hey, I think you need to do this. I think once you get ready, come from audio and go to video." To this day, man, big ups to my boy Dennis.
So like what's the biggest thing about Dennis or anybody that you like who've inspired you? What's like the biggest thing you've learned within the people that surround your circle?
Biggest thing that I've learned in the people that surround my
Or the most
circle,
important? The most important.
simple. 100% authentically yourself. Real friends, real people, people who love you, cherish you, and want you around. They don't want you because, and I mean, well, let me say genuinely want you around. It's not because of the things you can do for them. It's not because of the things you can provide for them. It's not because of nothing else but who you are. And I learned from my friends that it's okay to be me, to be goofy, to be weird, to be an anime loving guy. Like, it's okay. And that's one of the lessons right now I'm trying to teach my son, my oldest boy, because I feel like he's trying to find himself. And I'm like, bro, just be yourself. Be 100% yourself. Whoever likes you will like you. At least they know who you are. Whoever don't like you, oh well. I mean, you know, what does it matter?
So I have a question because it seems like you're like a well spirited person and all that. Because I'm still trying to find myself, and I don't have
Mhm.
like many friends when it comes to certain situations because I feel like I've been used my entire life and all that. Like, what would be the perfect thing to find, like, when it comes to learning more about yourself, I guess? Like, what would be the perfect, like, the best question to ask yourself?
The first thing that pops into my head is, what do you want to do today? And the reason I say it like that is because in order you gotta spend time with yourself. You know, if you're doing something and your heart's not in it, then you're gonna put it down as quick as you picked it up. You know, so when you spend time with yourself, realizing, you know what, and it's okay to tell you something. I look good in black. I'm gonna buy more black shirts. And it's simple stuff like that. You know what? Today I want to eat. I want to eat some roasted chicken over a grill versus baked chicken. It's the little things you do to discover who you are, and then ultimately you start becoming okay with who you are. You realize what you like, what you don't like, what you want, what you don't want. Even in your friends, your friends will take the time to learn who you are and what you do. That is the best thing I could say, because that's what I'm doing. I don't,
Yes.
again, and I speak about my podcast. For me, the podcast is not forced on me. I'm doing this because I genuinely want to do it. Even when I had 0 views. Even when nobody was tuning in, I was still putting out, because at the end of the day, at that point in time, it was helping me. It was helping me overcome some things that I had to overcome. And then as I went through, as I'm still going through therapy and dealing with my wife and dealing with some of the friends that I've made in podcasting, it's made me realize I've left, regard if something happens, I've left gems for my children to go back to. Each episode,
Facts.
each file I record or don't post, each clip is something for my kids to go back and listen to in moments where they feel like, "Hey, I don't know what to do. What would my dad say?" God forbid something happens to me, you know?
So I tell you this though, like, I tell people to give themselves compliments all the time, basically. So like, but it's funny how like a lot of people when they give themselves compliments, the world look at them as arrogant or like they're conceited, they're cocky and all that.
Mhm.
But we can give other people compliments. We can talk about how good Chris Brown is dancing, but we can't talk about how good we're dancing. We can talk about how good like somebody else look, but we can't talk about how good we look in black. So why do we have the process of we can talk about the world, but we can't talk about us. We can't pretty much give us courage or compliments basically.
That is a good that's a good question. Why That's a good question. Why can't we compliment ourselves without sounding arrogant or conceited, but yet we can compliment others and it's a good thing? I think it's not so much that you can't, more so in how you do it. again, I'll tell this. I'll use this story. Last summer, we were at the Junior Olympics, and my youngest daughter was in a dog fight. Yeah, like it was a real dog fight between these girls. They were throwing the shot put, and I'm talking about. I told the story last week. I'll tell it again. They like them girls were competing, and they were competing for first place. And this girl comes out and she launches 5 and she takes first place. And it was heartbreaking to see my daughter lose, but I told her you're in 10th grade. Next year you got it. You got it next year. I'm a firm believer. You learn more from losing than you do winning. That's just something I've learned. Losing teaches you where you can improve. Winning, it's hard to learn areas where you can improve. But I said all that to say, so the girl in question that took first place, she was, y'all hoes can't fuck with me. I'm the best. I'm the greatest. I love the self-confidence. I love the self-confidence. Even her dad, yeah, yeah, we came in this hole and we ran, like, and I understand you're excited your kid won. But let me pose this question to you. Now, if somebody came and did all that, would you look at that as them complimenting themselves, or would you say,
Okay, so I was about to say this. Like, if I say that I look good, like for example, when you say you look good in black, if I say
yeah,
I look good in black, that's a compliment to myself. If I
yeah,
say I look better than you in black, that's downing you. So it depends on how the situation was. Like if she's saying like I'm great, I'm doing amazing, that's fine for her. But the thing is, she said that none of y'all can stop me. That's gonna put somebody in a competitive state to a point where like now you're going to want to be in fight mode or in attack mode because like now you're down in the person that's around you. So basically, how I would take it as an insult. I understand your compliment, but I would take it as an insult towards me because you're letting other people know that you're better than me and all that. Which is fine. Like I personally believe like some people are better than other people. It is what it is. But we have to understand the repercussions when somebody actually do say that they're better. Now they want to get challenged. Now they want to challenge them.
and
So
that
yeah.
was our biggest thing. And I'm speaking as a parent, but I'm also speaking as somebody who whose kids are going through the whole college recruiting phase and everything else like that, whose kids are trying to get recruited and talk to colleges and everything else like that. So for me as the parent, I looked at it as number one, I'm not down on the girl, but that was tacky. There was no class in what you just did. And I understand you just took first place. I understand you just won, and I understand all that. It's cool to celebrate your win, but to come out and say none of you mind you, you're in a competition environment where you don't know who's out there watching you, and you're hollering none of you hoes can fuck with me, like that's coming out of a kid's
Facts.
mouth. And
Facts.
then your dad is going back and repeating the same thing, that crosses the line from compliments to arrogant, because there's always somebody who has your ticket. There's always somebody who's better than you. And I'm a firm believer. Well, let me pose this question to you. Do you think which is better? Being naturally gifted, or do you think hard work can surpass the naturally gifted?
Well, this is a good question, man. Okay, so I'll tell you this. I was naturally strong and fast. Like just saying, just putting it out there. But there was some guy, like basically he used to train wrestling and all that. But I used to fight. I used to fight all the time and all that. So I was like wild, arrogant. But I used to just street fight. I was big on just knocking people out just because I knew how to. But this guy was a trained fighter. And I know about how I can beat him up. You know what happened? Got my
Yeah,
ass whooped. Like legit, he had me in a sleeper hole to a point where I started feeling comfortable in his arms. That's how bad he was beating me up. And my crush was right. My crush was right next to me and all that. Like she was just shaking
yeah.
her head and all that. So I'm looking like, yo, I'm getting embarrassed or whatever. I'm sitting here trying to I'm sitting here trying to like tickle him and all that. I'm looking like, yo. Like, like y'all sitting there, whatever, just watching me get beat up, and that like, and it depends on what the situation is because like I know people that are naturally gifted, they do also train at the same time and all that. It depends on how arrogant you are, but if you're just laying back and just chilling and watching other people train, eventually the person that's training is gonna get better than you. So that's what I personally believe. I personally believe like if you train long enough and hard enough, it will surpass anybody that's naturally gifted.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's the mindset that I have. And that's what I told my kids. It's not about, now granted, by the grace, they get it from their mom. And by the grace of God, my kids are they're able to compete. They have that drive, they have the form, they've been doing it for a long time. So yeah, when they come across people who are better than them, my kids have actually surprised me because at a point in time, one of my girls, I didn't think she had a dog in her. I didn't think she had that dog. But as times progressed and she's gone through practice and practice and after practice and after practice and competing, bro, the puppy grew fangs, damn it. Now she's a beast. You know what I'm saying? Both of my kids are beasts and they know and they love to compete. And when they and they're the I love my girls. They are the type when they catch you, they gonna let you know. Hey man, they're like that. Hey, yo, what's up? Bro? Hello, how you doing? I'm right here. I'm right
That's
here.
arrogant too. That's arrogant too, though.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I've seen them do it. They're over there like, yeah, yeah. Hey, hello, I'm on your side. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You ain't that far ahead no more. You know what I'm saying?
So is your daughter's passionate about like what they so wouldn't that also be a natural gift as well? Like if you like learn that it's your passion and all that, you just didn't know it was natural to you? Because usually your passion come from like natural, right?
Some would say, I mean, some passions are learned. So I mean, I can't really say because my so my youngest daughter played football in high school. She played football throughout her middle school year and she played football in high school. And she stopped playing football to focus on track and field. So her passion was football, but she realized she was going to go further in track and field. So she put down the football to play to do track and field. Now, people said she was naturally gifted in football. She was a beast. Like she was she was a high school freshman on the defensive line. Like she wasn't no on the offensive line. She wasn't a kicker. No, she was hunting. She was breaking in the holes and tackling people and and getting up like yeah yeah. And I'm over there like that's my girl. That's my girl. You know what I'm saying? And like whenever people would find out that it was a girl doing it, it was like what a girl. Like yeah,
She was on the guys football team? What? That's dope. That's wild dope. Okay, okay. So so are you saying that because it was like more of a male sport, she didn't find like any goal at the end because it's mainly men that's going to succeed in it?
her words were she didn't see she didn't see herself being able to go far in it because it was predominantly I'm trying to remember her word because she wanted somebody to take her really serious. Like, I want to go to college for this. I want to play football. I want to do this. And she didn't feel the support a lot of the coaches to actually pursue and go where she wanted to go. So
Mm,
she decided to just shift focus and just focus on track and field.
interesting, interesting. So would you say that that's like a form of like misogynistic tendencies, or is it because it's the policy of football, I guess?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, yeah. It's misogynist. It
Okay.
very much is. It's because for some of the dudes, they found my daughter as a threat
Mm,
because here it is. My daughter was a freshman on the starting defensive line in high school, and she was blown like, she was doing better than a lot of those boys.
Mm.
The boys found it they found her out it was a threat. Like, one dude kept saying, "I'm a," "Oh, man, you're a girl, you don't," "We take it easy on you in practice." And my daughter told him, like, "Bro, I didn't ask you to take it easy on me. You just mad because 'cause I'm putting you on your back."
I'd say this, dude, like that's when arrogance actually like matters. Cause you're
Yeah,
trying to down somebody for being a certain gender and all that. So she had every right to say whatever she can or whatever. Be like, yo, I'm beating you. It is what it is. Like you don't have to like basically like if I'm beating you, whatever, I'm not asking you to go soft for me, whatever. Just do what you gotta do now. Because you're losing. Like now you're gonna say it's because you're taking it easy. That's an excuse. You're trying to make it seem like you're losing because of some reason, whatever. No, I'm just better than you. Just take it like that and leave it. So yeah, so now my question is, did she learn football from you?
that's the thing, that came natural to her. She didn't learn it from me. Like, I tell this story to anybody. My youngest daughter struck a devil deal with my wife. And the devil deal was, this is way back when. The devil deal was she had to do 1 year of pee-wee cheerleading and actually compete and actually be a cheerleader. She had to do, because my oldest boy, he did pee-wee football. My daughter wanted to play football, but my wife said no. She was just like, "No, I'm not putting you in pads. You're a girl and I don't want you to get hurt." So after much conversation and everything, me and my daughter struck a double deal with my wife and I, which it was she would do 1 year of cheerleading and then the next year of pee wee football, she would play on the field. And she did just that. So she's had the drive for football for a long
Interesting.
time. Like, since
Interesting.
she was a kid, she's wanted to play football. So it wasn't just something that she picked up. So where she got it from, I don't know, because at the time my kids were born, I wasn't playing football. Now my wife into football. My wife watches football. Her favorite team, I'm not gonna say it on here because I will not give them no glory. But my wife's favorite team is her favorite team, and my daughter is a bandwagon off my wife. So
Mm.
they have their favorite team, and yeah, she loves the game. She loves the sport of football.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I can't take credit for it.
So have you found your natural passion? You? As in,
Me,
like, I know you said podcasting and all that, but is there anything else or anything like that you're gifted in?
music.
Music.
Music is my first love.
Interesting. Interesting. So, like, you like produce raps?
I used to drop beats on a regular basis. I was dropping beats. And then I stopped to focus on being a husband and being a dad. And at the time, I didn't really have an avenue to actually funnel my beats through to try to get them out there. So I just put it down and focused on taking care of the wife and the kids and home and everything else like that. And then now I picked this up and I love this.
Okay.
I love
Okay.
this.
I rock
I
with it.
love this as much as music. That's the crazy part.
So, okay. So you said that you're an introvert and all that, but you're like, you're having a podcast. You're like talking to, well, you're starting to talk to people out into the malls and all that. Are you trying to change your like your concept of being an introvert to being an extrovert and all that, or you just want to do your job or whatever, like or do your passion and just go back home and
I just wanna do my passion and then go back to my bubble.
okay,
That's it.
okay,
Like, if it again, whatever comes out of it, I tell anybody this, once you make it into my circle, it's you see a whole nother side of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I tell anybody, I'm a beer drinking, brisket barbecuing cowboy. I'm a Texan through and through. I love Budweiser, I love Bud Light, and I drink my beer and I drink Jack Daniels and I barbecue. That is who I
mm,
am. So, like, whenever I have friends and Hey, I'm that friend. Hey, bro, what you doing? Hey, I'm about to fire up the pit. I'm about to put some brisket on. You want to come over? You want to drink? What's up? What you want to do? Oh yeah, bro, I'll be over there. Hey, and that's what I'll kick the music on. I'll call it DJ's Boom Boom Room. I'll kick the music
DJ
on, and
Boom
we'll
Boom.
yeah, we'll go at it. We'll chill, drink.
Well, I tell you this though, like basically podcasting became my passion too. Because I told you I couldn't read, like I had a fourth grade reading level, but it was because I had like a speech impediment. I had a stuttering problem. I still have a stuttering problem right now, basically. But the more I talk to people like yourself or whatever, the more I be on camera, the more my passion come out to a point where I feel like I like do have a lot to say. My speech is getting like a lot stronger or whatever. So it comes to a point where my biggest fear became my greatest passion. So I have to tell people this. Understand what your fear is, because the moment you like go and face your fear and beat your fear, that might be something that you're passionate about. That might be something that you're gifted on. But somebody is trying to stop you from pursuing that passion. I'm not saying it's the universe, whatever. It might be anybody, but could be yourself, because you don't want to fail on your own passion. So now it's going to come to a point where like you hold this passion so deep to you, whatever, to a point where you want to hold it in as well, because you don't want to fail. Because you like, if you think your passion is like, if you fail in your passion, you will legit lose hope for yourself as well, because you think you're like you automatically have this love for like the situation and all that, to a point where you really want to succeed in it. But understand, like, your passion take trial and error. The more you hold back on it, the more you're gonna slow yourself down. So yeah, I mean, so like basically when I pretty much realized speaking was my passion, I felt somebody was trying to hold me back, because like I want to speak now. I'm a motivational speaker now. I'm a life coach. I'm a relationship coach. I do certain stuff to speak to people and all that. I'm an activist. And it all came from like me facing my fear, from having a stuttering problem, from me getting smacked in the mouth because my mom didn't want me to talk to any adults and all that. I've been taught to fear my like certain stuff that I should have pursued a long time ago. So yeah.
Nah, bro. Man, I appreciate you for sharing that, bro, because bro, that's deep. That is deep and it's real. A lot of times it's not that it's not that we're afraid because somebody taught us to be afraid. A lot of times we're afraid because we fear we won't be good, we won't be any good at it.
Facts. Facts.
And
Facts.
I totally agree with that because I went through that. I went through that with the podcast.
Hmm.
Like, bro, if you would have my first couple of episodes to this day probably are only at 10 views. 10
Interesting.
views.
Interesting.
And now I'm putting out clips and I'm putting out views where like it's so some people it's not big, but to me, hell, if I get 1,000 views on a clip, I'm over there like,
But you know what's crazy though? You know what's crazy? Like, I think there's like 50 something people in my group chat. I think everybody asked me about your podcast. Like, you were the most talked about podcast, believe it or not. The most complimented podcast. Believe it or not. Like legit. Nobody have anything bad to say about your podcast. So like I said, I think you will be famous soon. Like, I personally think so. It might take a year, it might take a lot of trials and error, but you personally have like the gift to talk or bring people together and all that. So that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. Like, people are legit complimenting you, whatever. Like, so I don't see what's I don't see why you're not famous yet.
it's not time yet.
I feel
Again,
you.
I'm a firm believer things happen in their own time. I'm gonna be honest, I wouldn't know how to deal with it right now. I'm glad I'm not there yet because I wouldn't know how to deal with it right now. Because again, I tell people this, I'm humble. I'm one of the most humble. I try, and this is just who I am. I try to stay humble in everything I do. And if I was to have to, oh yeah, I saw your podcast. I would be so blood red in the face. Like, yo, I never knew a black guy could turn red, but this guy is really turning red because I'll be over there like, oh my God, I hope I didn't say nothing dumb.
So quick question though, what would you do like if you do get that fame? Like what would be your main goal like after you get that fame?
My main goal after I reach that level of fame is to reach back and bring somebody else up. I want to reach back because my thing is this: there's enough room at the bottom is crowded. The bottom is too crowded. And I go back to what T.I. said, and I don't remember if it was in a song or if he was making a statement, but T.I. said, when you get to that level and to that plateau where you have clout and you have the ability to reach back and grab somebody, it is your duty to reach back and grab somebody and bring them up. It is your duty to help the next man. Why wouldn't you want to help the next man? Why gatekeep? That's why, that's why I say the things that I say in our group chat, because it's not about me growing. And I don't want people to just look at me and be like, oh, well, there he goes. He's just posting about his podcast. Nah, bro, what are we doing to reach our goals? How are we going to get to the next level? Be sure to tell the people who helped you today, thank you. Prepare for tomorrow, because you never know what tomorrow is going to bring. Like, if I can bring people up with me while we're climbing now, that's the goal. You know what I'm saying? That is the goal. I want people to I want people I love to watch people succeed. I love it. Because I don't know, it just lets me know, it gives me hope. Watching other people succeed and get to plateaus like my boy Corey. He's not in the group, but he had a podcast and he's on TikTok. And he went viral on TikTok because he started millennial slang. He started this millennial slang on TikTok, and it picked up so much traction. And he was talking about this. He started off with, this generation doesn't know how to carry the one, and that picked up so much traction. And he hit 10K plus subscribers, followers on TikTok. And I'm over there like, yo, like you would have thought I hit 10K, but I'm over there like,
Right,
that's my
right.
boy. My
Get
boy
excited.
hit 10K. Like, that's what's up, bro.
Facts.
What, I'm asking, hey, bro, what's it like up there on 10K? Tell me, you know, I'm genuinely excited for him. Granted, it doesn't take away from the fact that I'm running my own race. But I think we get so much tunnel vision and running our own race, and I think sometimes we feel that if anybody comes up that is running the same race, we automatically look at them as the adversary. You're doing this too, now you're against me. Nah, bro, we just happen to be running the same race. Why can't we run it together?
Facts. 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 And I'll tell you this. You talk about Pokemon, right? Pokemon cards. You know why
Yep.
I'm a big fan of Pokemon cards? Of Pokemon in general?
What?
Because of evolution. Like I love watching stuff evolve. So when I like basically growing up playing it, I would have never played it if they didn't evolve. So
Yep.
basically when I help somebody like in the community, when I help talk to people and all that, when I'm be in the community or whatever and see people progress, I have the same feeling that you have. I get proud, like it's me and all that. So the problem with like a lot of people is when they see somebody like the crabs in the barrel situation. Like when they see somebody progress and all that, they'll take. I can't picture one activist, like one black activist right now, that don't hate on another activist for progressing. And it's crazy because like a lot of us, they want that like that top level to a point where if they see somebody that reached it before them, they want to talk junk about. They want to like they want to bring them back down or whatever. They want to bring their energy low and all that. My problem is if I see you progress, like my situation is if I see you progress, I'm gonna say, hey, look, I was with him when he was when he was having like 10, 10 viewers or whatever. Why can't we
Yeah.
just be proud of that situation instead of saying, how did he get all these views and I didn't? A lot of us today, we feel like we need them viewers or whatever. Not the fact that you're consistent in what you're doing and all that. You're like I said, your chemistry is on point and all that. Why can I praise you for it? Why can't I learn from you? Instead, if you go up there because of your chemistry and your consistency, whatever, a lot of people like me, we want to break you down. Be like, oh, he ain't all that. He ain't such and such and all. That's where we start paying attention when we actually legit see somebody actually do well. But the moment we're at the bottom, we don't have anything to say. You know, you know why? Because we're both at this low and we want to stay there. A lot of us like we can't see somebody go up without them bringing us up and all that. So my question with you: do you think like is would you bring your friends up or would you bring somebody that have the same goals or the same passion as you up?
I would bring up somebody whose goals and whose passions aligns with what I'm doing. And the reason I say that is because I have friends, I have family, and my success is my success. It's not their success. And I'm not obligated to bring them because they're family to my plateau or to my level because my level may not my level is meant for where I am and for people who are doing what I'm doing, not for people who is some who may be destined for something different. A lot of times we look at and you hear about it a lot. You know, you'll hear stories of rappers who give what rapper was it? I can't remember his name, but it's like his story's at the forefront of my mind right now. Basically, he gave everybody a job. He gave all his homeboys jobs. You know, they were bouncer, they were part of his security team. They they were this, they were that. Basically, and he came to the realization he was basically paying his homeboys to hang out with him. And he was paying them. He did all that because he felt, again, I can't think of his name. So whenever this get posted, if anybody makes it this far into the
Thinking now.
episode and they remember it, post it in the comments. But basically, he was saying how he was just paying his homeboys to hang out with him, and they weren't doing nothing with the money. They weren't bettering themselves. They weren't. They were just there. And he started to look at them as leeches. So I said all that to say you can't just when reaching back, you can't just grab any and everybody. You have to be strategic with it. You have to bring people up who are actually trying to come up themselves. I think a lot of people feel that because you made it and you did the because you went through the forest and cut this path, my job is to walk your path and get to where you're at. No, 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 no. Just because I cut my path, you still got to go cut your own path and see how far you can go. My job is just to help guide you on how to cut your path. It's not to do it for you. My job is to teach you how to I'm gonna teach you how to swing the hatchet and where to cut the tree at to where you can get it to fall the way you want it to fall. My job is not to go cut the tree for you.
That's yo, you should be a motivational speaker, man. Like the podcasting is all well and good, but like you should go out and actually start speaking. Like, cause you said so many bangers to a point where like I said, I'm becoming a fan of you basically. And there's one thing that you also said. I asked my girlfriend this, whatever. I think I asked her, but you brought up the whole life sentence situation.
Uh-huh.
Like, and if you die, would you is that your life sentence complete? And that was like a
Yeah.
good question. I was asking the world that. I was like, hey yo, so I tell all these people that have life sentences, all you gotta do is drink mad energy drinks, get a heart attack, have them rejuvenate you, and then you're free. That's all that's all it is. But like the stuff that you're saying is like on point and it's funny. I loved it.
Yeah.
So I think you're doing something really, really good, man. I'm proud of you. Even though I don't really know you like that or whatever, I'm proud of you because I've seen you progress and all that. I see what you're doing. And like I said, your chemistry or whatever, I'm learning a lot from you. So I appreciate it. Because one thing I need to learn about is my chemistry, like my charismatic ways, basically. And it's something that, yeah,
I appreciate it, bro. Like real talk. Like today has been a very I've met a lot of people who have said something today I met a couple of people who have said something today that's inspired me. My wife, this one lady on Facebook, I mean, on TikTok said something. She posted up a story that I don't remember exactly what it said, but that inspired me today. And then what you just said inspired me, bro. Like I get my inspiration from y'all, bro. I mean, like I said, I don't we may not know each other, but to me, I feel like I've known you for a long time, bro. I don't look at you as somebody I just met on a Facebook group. Like, nah, bro, we're in the colleagues. We're in this together. You know what I'm saying? He's growing his podcast. I'm growing my podcast. You know, we're in this group together to grow together. Like, bro, that bonding. And a lot of people don't really there's too many people who don't understand connections and making connections and building these connections. Oh, I look at it regardless of which one of us from the group makes it big. Heck, I'm I'm happy for you. I want you, I
Facts.
want y'all to get it. I do. I want everybody in this group to win. And I feel like the only way I know how to help people win is to do exactly what I'm doing. Like I dialed it back with posting up my clips every day in the group because I was like, man, I don't want people to feel like I'm just spamming, you know. But there are times where like I'll be at work and I'm sitting up there like, man, I wonder what they talking about in the group. But I'm grinding away at work and then I'm sitting down like, oh dang, they done had some full-fledged
And
conversations.
like, yeah, like had
I didn't
100 messages. Like, what happened?
what I miss. But nah, bro. But yo, we gonna wind this down, bro, and I'm gonna give you the last word.
Okay, so I have to wind this. Okay, so boom. You were absolutely correct when it comes to like building each other up and all that. Because like I said, your charisma I've learned from. Like, and I can see you progress. You will progress because of your charisma and the way you talk to people and all that. And that's actually inspired me to like learn how to be more charismatic. And there's like a bunch of people that's in the group that I want to learn from. Like, we need to stop tearing people down or whatever because they see something that's better than what you have, basically. So I definitely appreciate you for your charisma and your speaking. And I'm definitely going to like promote your stuff. And I love, yo, like I said, I love your content, man. Like I said, and also what's that guy, Mikey G,
Mikey D,
like Mikey D or whatever. I watched that show like 20.
bro, I
Y'all been saying
appreciate
some
it.
on point stuff, and I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your shorts. I know you're gonna get better just like I will, but eventually, if we come up at the top, we're gonna have to meet each other somewhere and all that. We're gonna have
Hey,
to shake
bro,
hands, be like, I knew we was gonna make it, man.
let's do it, bro. Like, let's do it. That's the goal. That is the goal. But yeah, man. But as I always say, if you are new to this, go on and hit that like, follow, comment, share, and subscribe button. Yes, do that. Don't just look at it, do it. If you are true to this, leave a comment, type something. If you text me something, let me know what you think. Let me know what you thought about this episode, and I'll catch y'all again the next time. Peace.
Appreciate you.